What's up, guys? TJ O'Connor Fitness, tjoconnorfitness.com. Here to talk to you guys a little bit about why it's so difficult for ex-athletes to develop a big chest. I went through this issue and still fight this issue every day because of the fact that I come from a football background. I played football all the way through college, and I noticed that my chest wouldn't develop as easily and as quickly as the rest of my body parts, especially my traps and my shoulders and my triceps, okay? Now, the biggest reason for that, what I discovered over the past 12 to 15 years, multiple certifications and degrees and my own experience training clients and myself, is you become dependent on the muscles that are the strongest in your body. So it doesn't really matter that you want to focus on your chest. If your body is already so overly developed in that area, it's going to be very, very difficult to engage the pec muscles. So since I played football, my front delts, lateral head, triceps, and trap muscles were very, very developed. And it's a lot because of being out here. You're hitting out here, you're blocking out here, you're even going to tackle, right? No one teaches you that you need to squeeze your chest to tackle somebody. So what ends up happening is you develop all of these pushing muscles and you underdevelop a lot of the squeezing muscles, or taking the arm across the body, which is what mainly the pec does. Now, you can still train your chest very, very well, but you have to learn how to connect to it. And I talked about this in previous videos, getting that mind-muscle connection. But because it's so difficult to now train a muscle that has been underactive for most of your life due to the sports, it becomes very, very imperative that you focus on form and technique long before you start working on excess weight. Okay? So what's happening with the front delt and traps and so on being overdeveloped is now the chest, the pec muscles are underactive. They're inhibited. And you have to look at it like maybe a good technique would be working so much more, even if you're strong, even if your bench press is 400 pounds, working a little bit more aggressively on feeling the muscle. So maybe doing a day of the week that's like a light week and just focusing on form and technique, and then going into your heavy sets. And if you cannot feel the muscle working, it's probably not working. Okay? When you're just pushing and exploding like you do in football and football training, basketball training, when your arms are up above your head, that's front delts, guys, and traps, and a little bit of the medial head, and levator scapula, and upper, those type of muscles are working very, very hard, but they continue to work hard and hard and hard, and that makes other muscles get weaker. So if you're planning on going into bodybuilding, or if you just want to know why your chest isn't growing and you're playing football, and your main concern if you're an athlete is to be good for that sport, but if you want to develop muscle mass in specific areas, you have to think and train like a bodybuilder. You have to understand the body and how the muscles are going to engage. And you also need to look at how that could be beneficial. I mean, if you have a big rock chest when you play football, it will help you with your pressing movements. And you should be stronger. And you should be stronger through a full range too. So you should have less chances of a pec tear. Whereas if you don't go full range of motion and you get really strong in your front delt and then someone racks you in your shoulder, if your chest is really tight because you don't go full range of motion, you could tear your pec. There's a lot of that happening to linebackers out there. Okay, a lot of pec tears from linebackers in the NFL even. Well, that's a lot of it because they might be bouncing out of the bottom of their movement, so they use so much momentum from the bottom, they don't really get that tension, through the entire movement, so their chest just isn't used to it. So it creates more tightness. There's a lot to say about this topic, but I know there's some confusion out there between feeling the muscle working and just exploding or moving weight. And the other aspect of that is how that relates to sports. So when it comes to sports, if you're a current athlete or an ex-athlete and you're having trouble in a certain area development-wise, you need to look at what you were doing for that sport, how those muscles were being trained consistently over and over again, and you need to look at how or what muscles you need to strengthen to balance out those areas. And I know for football, it's definitely going to be the chest for most people, unless you're genetically gifted. Some people are, and they'll have a big chest no matter what they do. And others, like most of us, are not. So you have to look at that's probably going to be your weakest area, and you're going to have to focus really hard on that area. Okay? Swimmers are going to probably have pretty big lats, right? They're constantly doing this. You know, that lat is constantly being worked. So that's going to be a good thing for them, but their rear delts, their upper traps, middle traps are going to be pretty weak, and they're going to probably be rounded over. Okay, sports cause certain areas to be bigger, stronger, and then weaker, you know. And so once you're done with that sport, if you want a more balanced physique, if you want to look and feel more balanced, you're going to have to look at how do I train the body specific to that area. I see a lot of people train like they did when they were playing sports. There's no point in doing that unless you want to perform like you were in that sport. Instead, look at it like, how do I balance out my physique? You'll have a lot less injuries. You'll have a lot less chronic pain, especially in your, head and neck area. Anytime you're too tight in one area, it's going to always cause some kind of pull or some kind of issue to where the joint is not sitting where it's supposed to be sitting. And if it's getting tugged one way, the muscles that are getting tugged are the ones that are weak, and the muscles that are tugging are the ones that are too tight. That's going to cause a lot of pain, okay? Somewhere these muscles are going to start tugging back, and that's going to cause spasms, issues, inflammation. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. It's a lot of information at one time. You're going to have to look at it, a little bit deeper in your own training program on how exactly this fits and, where you're having these issues, especially ex-athletes. I know you're looking at me going, oh, God, I have all these things going on. There's a lot of information out there. I'll continue to put videos on how to strengthen inhibited muscles and increase range of motion on the more tighter muscles. But until that point in time, you can go to my website, tjoconnorfitness.com, send me a message, ask me some questions, and we'll talk maybe about what I can do to either help you or how some of this information down the road can be can be very, informative to the point where you could take that information and utilize it for your own program, okay? Anyway, subscribe, check out the next video, and I'll talk to you guys soon, man. Have a great day.